truth is about robotics, most robots in the world are working in only one sector, which is car manufacturing, which has been the case for the last 20 years. And from around 2000 right through to 2015 or so, the number of robots in factories globally was increasing by only about 10%, 12% a year. Tiny compared to the Internet of Things, big data, the cloud, all of that. Tiny. So let's be careful that we focus on what really matters for your particular factory, wherever you are, rather than getting swept away by some dazzling idea about something that's going to change the whole of everything, when it probably isn't. Now, here is a technology which really is here. It's working well, it's mature, it's very exciting, and will continue to mature. And that is the ability to visualize physical objects in front of other physical objects using a virtual device. Fascinating. The ability to design an entire factory process using virtual screens without having to build a single thing. Amazing. Very, very exciting. And we're seeing a lot of this kind of technology in construction of factories now. But again, you may not be the largest company in New Mexico. And it's true, as we heard, that 84% of all exports from this state are coming from small companies. So we need a reality check and think about the things which will really make a difference in your own company that have a fantastic payback. And yes, I would say prototyping is something that works very well, even for the smallest companies. The ability to try things out, the ability to render a particular product in a sophisticated machine. You don't even need to own the machine. You can design it, send it to a 3D production unit, and within a couple of hours, it'll be back with you. The ability for a dentist, for instance, to be able to take a cast and in a small factory, maybe less than 20 miles away, to have beautifully created, perfect replacement teeth, which could be back in the client's mouth by later on that day. Astonishing, wonderful, life-changing. But it's also true that while we have this 85% of manufacturers being relatively small in New Mexico, there is this irresistible force to go for scale. And the reason is this, that the world is too small now for more than 5 large auto companies globally, more than 2 airline manufacturers, maybe 3, more than 2 mobile phone operating systems. There just aren't enough people on the earth to make it worthwhile. And even the 2 mobile operating systems we have are both hackable. So there's a lot of effort to keep these things running. Same with computer operating systems. The world is too small for more than 10 large pharma companies. We've seen this with COVID. You have thousands and thousands of small companies doing the innovation, and then they go to scale through large pharma. And that's how we've tackled vaccines. And of course, when you're thinking about multi-product assembly lines where you can shoot down 4 or 5 different sizes of books or 4 or 5 different models of cars all on the same line, this requires heroic investment. But the good news is this: if you are one of those smaller companies in New Mexico, there is going to be a boom in demand for niche manufacturers who are providing specialist support for the largest customers with total commitment to customization. And the key there is a lesson we can learn from Hollywood. It's, assembling a huge team to build a fantastic movie, which comprises maybe of 50 or 60 or 70 companies, all of whom are put together at the speed of light. They're welded together into one group with shared data, shared systems, common purpose, common vision, and they become a virtual film giant. And we're going to hear a lot more about virtual factories. I don't mean producing virtual parts. I mean, in the olden days, the company would have had all their supply chains organized. They would have owned this and owned that and the other. Now, and then of course they fragmented it, and it became quite difficult to control. These companies are going to want to share data with you. They want to see inside your factory. They want to be able to watch physically, or certainly on monitoring, every single component coming out. They can see the products being loaded onto the pallets. They can see them as if they were part of their own factory on their own site. The fact that you're 50 miles or 500 miles away doesn't matter. The fact that you don't share any equity or any governance doesn't matter. You're part of the same organism. This is the next step on from just the Internet of Things, big data and things. It's stitching it all together.